Hello world, good day and good game. Today we will look at the interviews that Nexon gave and how they changed the terms of service. This and some bug fixes is what we got last week. Also a lot of discussion is going on around Serena. Are we ready for a nerf? Maybe not when looking at Wallcrasher. Serena pretty much carries the fight just like she does for plenty other bosses. Nerf Serena and we would have some really difficult time, which is also what they admit in the interview. The plan is to bring all Descendants up to Serena's level, but that would be damn overpowered too. So they also want to counter some of her abilities. Do you remember when Contagion for Freyna was added to the game? That changed 400% runs forever. And now we are one step beyond that. Let's wait and see what those monthly balance updates bring. For the race, one nice trick came up, which is not surprising because that is how your Descendants work too. When you build speeds, then it stays like that as long as you are in the air. Almost the same for the hoverbike. Use the boost jump and stop using boost. You keep your speed but without draining the boost. This way you can beat all the action races easily. But you don't have to do this. Another video proves that you can do it the legit way too. With enough upgrades and good rolls, all those challenges become easy. Good stats are everything that gives you more speed. A friend told me to get double boost, so I looked for that and wanted everything else to pump up my speed too. That worked very well. Last week we got hotfixes over and over again. First of all, the 131 hotfix, which fixed the unplayable graphic bugs. We can finally play the game, but also it added weapon cores to infiltration operations and improved the trigger module battering ram by a lot. You can now play a useful support lowering the resistance of all the enemies. But then some challenges were broken and we needed more hotfixes. More hotfixes, more problems. That is also where the battle pass went wild, giving you experience over and over again for doing nothing. Every time you teleported around you got some battle pass experience until you reached level 400 now. So now the devs look at everyone who got too much battle pass experience and they will remove it. The stuff you bought won't be removed, but your coins will be removed, so you can end up with a negative balance. Then you have to earn all of them again before you are able to buy anything again. And then there were those AI advertisements on TikTok. Must have been a stressful week for Nexon. Almost 2 weeks ago they started to show some strange ads that were impersonating other streamers. So this immediately went through all media and news, but let's take a deep breath and look what really happened. A creative challenge program has been started on TikTok where other people can send in advertisements for the First Descendant. TikTok quickly checks them for some copyright and then gives them to the First Descendant official account. What you now should do is take a look at this mess before you release it, but obviously there was no vetting from Nexon. So now they had absolute cringe AI advertisements impersonating other streamers, which started a bit of a backlash. Those ads were quickly hidden from the First Descendant account, but they are not fully deleted. So you find all of them as a link in the description. There's one even bigger than that, but no one talks about it. Last week we got new terms of service and they are not as fun as they describe it. Before I tell you about the changes, you must keep in mind that most of this is my personal opinion. Let me give you a quick overview what changed in the terms of service. When you have a problem with a company, then there are a couple of institutions that take care of it. So far Nexon used the consumer-friendly JAMS. Now they switched to NAM, which is more friendly to the companies than to the consumers. In simple words, when you have a really big problem with someone, then you try to talk to them once or twice. If they don't listen, then you activate your lawyer or go to an arbitrator and solve it. An arbitrator like JAMS is an institution who helps end a fight between two people or companies. What they decide can be as final as a judge decision. But if that is not possible, then the case goes to court. And maybe you find some other people there with the same problems, then you go there as a group and share all the costs. Sounds pretty simple and pretty normal, right? Yes, but Nexon does not want that anymore. Before you go anywhere, they want you to talk to them, of course, okay, on the phone, not in a mail or something. Finding a solution 60 days long. Yes, phone and 60 days. You could still go to an arbitrator, but some things must be handled by a court now. And you can no longer join other people, which makes it more expensive for you. So all in all, Nexon has put a big fence around them. I understand that they want to protect themselves, completely normal, but using NAM and all these new restrictions is building a fence between you and your customers. That sounds so wrong. And one more section has been added asking you to read others' terms and waiving away all liability. Sounds normal, but whoever wrote this forgot that the CFPB in America will not like such attempt for blanket liability waiver. Yeah, let's see when this sentence will be removed again. So I'm not a big fan of the changes, but I also don't tend to sue them anytime soon. How about talking about the interview instead? Last week on Thursday, Sir Leo gave us a link to an interview with Nexon about the future of the game. You find the link in the description. And here is an image that was made for the interview. Oh boy. In the interview they said Season 3 was delayed about a month, mainly because the team was challenged with creating a last-minute demo while handling other live service issues. What? The demo wasn't planned at all? We could have gotten Season 3 just in time? Good choice. The developers say the size of Axion is needed to add future missions, and it should be an alternative to the usual one-shot mission in dungeons. They also want battles to feel more strategic than before, especially against giant monsters. Yeah, I like to one-shot those random giant monsters in a team, they are nice. Anyway, the team is testing ways to get better feedback, like using test servers, but they still seem to be figuring out the best process. The story is focused on starting Karel's narrative, making him a villain with real motives that players can empathize with. They admitted Enzo came across too weak and promised to give him a chance to shine later. All of this is moving toward an eventual final battle against Karel. Some story choices, like suddenly making Harris a Descendant, were acknowledged as rushed. Nell's return as a Descendant made sense due to her popularity, and Emilia was added as a new operator. Blair is written as a funny character. He often teases or makes jokes about other characters, but sometimes his jokes crosses the line. Overall, the story aims to raise tension while giving villains more depth. The developers admitted they were afraid that the new weapons could be too overpowered, and trigger modules are central this season, so new ones will be added from month to month to cover more Descendants. They also admitted that Serena is currently too strong, and other characters will be buffed before adding contents that directly counter Serena. Supports like Ajax and Enzo aren't strong enough yet, but the devs don't want supports to be mandatory. So support characters are meaningful to Nexon, but balancing comes first, and then they may take care of the supports. More monthly balance changes are coming, starting with Lepic. Kyle's rework aims to highlight risk-reward instead of one-shot abuse. Overall, the focus is on balancing characters and making each useful in the new content. So next month they balanced Lepic, and the month after Kyle. One-shot Kyle. If they think that Kyle easily one-shots, then they are so mistaken. Please don't nerf Kyle. His one-shot is pure luck of a very low critical hit chance. There's nothing wrong with Kyle. The dev said future skins will be different for each character and have higher quality. Swimsuit skins are the most popular by far. Yeah, and the milk tea beige color. The new collaboration was the first choice and worked smoothly. Another collaboration is planned with a well-known but somewhat niche company by director Lee himself. And the skin design contest brought many creative entries, especially for female Descendants. We may get more contests like that in the future. In September, the launch feature will launch, letting players display collectibles, Descendant skins and weapons. Expanded features, more features like visiting other launches will come in December. Collectibles are Abyss items and new figures such as helmets or unpainted models. Ultimate Luna will get Transcendent modules, one to fix her skill or gun problem, another to change her rhythm gameplay style. And of course, 3 melee weapons are coming, starting with a blade and a great sword. Sub-attacks and grappling modules will eventually be reworked too. So in my opinion, all in all, that interview wasn't that sort of big news. It's a bit confusing too. So they wanted to release Season 3 right on the year anniversary, but they added a demo and preview content in the last minute, which screwed up the schedule. Giving Karel more depth was nice, but I was hoping that we now ally with him against whatever is threatening both our worlds. But in the interview they said that we fight him. Well, at least they said out loud that Serena is too strong, but then they also said that other Descendants are buffed to her level. Power inflation, yay! Totally not surprising. Just like what future updates will bring, that's the same as said in previous interviews and live shows. So this interview may not have much new information about the game, but it gives some insights of how they are working on things and how they are feeling about their achievements. That's a nice little insight in their daily business. So much for the interview. Last week some new votes and ideas came up in the community. For example, barrel roll for bikes to get bypass other people or enemies. Someone explain this to me. What is wrong with jumping over enemies? We can jump with the bike. And here it is. Should Wallcrasher have a new aerial attack that disables abilities of flying Descendants? Future bosses surely have this, or there will be some nerf to the flying of Serena, like heavily increased MP cost. But until then, flies everywhere. The endgame is mostly running around in Sigma or Axion, and of course we all like the new content more than the old one. Even though it is a lot of fun using the bikes in Sigma and rushing through the missions. Axion also wins amongst all the extensions. This vote clearly forgot the invasions. Those were really nice when they were new and very challenging before completely destroyed to the jokes that we have today. And how about a plot twist that brings Jeremy back? Well, maybe not. He can stay where he is with that vote. And did you notice how different Nell behaves and talks? Her voice just hits different since she's a Descendant. Pay attention to that in your next run. You will notice. And month after month we now get new and ultimate Descendants, but what everyone is really looking forward to is Dire. Not even Harris is interesting enough, we want Dire now. And how do you like your next Lepic? A rework of his fun Bomberman ability would have been the last thing I expected. I would love to see his first skill reworked to some cluster grenades for a bit more clear speed. With new content we also have new bugs. A well-known bug from Sigma Sector is making its way into other missions too. This bug is older than Sigma Sector and has never really been fixed. It can happen that an enemy is invisible or not in combat mode, so you will be unable to complete the mission. In some rare cases, Ascending Armory is not giving you bullets. This dude made some tests here and found that it does not seem to work all the time. And when you heavily play Nell, then there are rare moments where her abilities do not shoot or the Eceive is blocked or on cooldown longer than it should. I noticed that her first skill sometimes does not shoot a projectile in special operations. That is sad when you need the damage. And yes, I completely ignore the Wallcrasher leaderboard currently. First of all, you can defeat Wallcrasher 2 or more times within the first 5 minutes on every hour, so good luck getting up to the top 100 now. Second of all, there's a way to defeat him as often as you like with a little trick when you are in a party. Of course, I won't tell you how to exploit the game, but that makes the leaderboard pretty useless. After we finally got the newer DLSS, we all see strange dots blinking everywhere, especially when you are idle, they suddenly appear everywhere, so just keep running. And after so many fixes, some challenges are still broken, like this one here. If it does not progress for you, then wait for the next hotfix. Same for ETA 0, where some people cannot buy the good stuff, also something that they want to fix soon. In Action, the mission Sealed Residential District is a bit bugged. When you start it and nothing happens, then that means it was not finished. Start the mission, kill the enemies and deliver before the time runs out. Otherwise the mission is bricked for everyone else. Now let's see how much those buggy days affect the numbers. After some heavy downvotes for Season 3, the new votes are on average again, good days with more upvotes and bad days with more downvotes. We are below the 20k of online player on Steam and falling. I bet they all come back when the Battle Pass issue has been fixed. Last week position 76 of most played games and now down to 98, even less than Fallout 4. Wow, so many people are still playing Fallout 4. So much for last week, let's look what's happening right now. The usual reminder on the starting screen, especially useful, is the bike dash race with lots of free stuff. Already mentioned last week, the console players get some free paint, weapon, skin, back attachment, spray, makeup and much more. This is for Xbox and PlayStation. For the events, there's still so much happening right now. The boot up event lets you skip all the story and tutorials, but it is a bit bugged. Not all descriptions show you where to go. 2 more weeks for Nier collaborations, the Twitch drops and Nell breakthrough event. I'm still waiting for that promised Death Life, surely comes next week. After that, the already mentioned updates for Luna and the launch. For reactor farming I give you this list. It shows all the good locations to farm currently, but please double check everything because in Season 3 all missions changed a bit, especially the first run in every mission gives you more rewards than all further runs. On the left side you choose the Descendants that you play with, in the middle you see which reactor is useful for them, and then on the right side are nice missions you can farm. But reactor are also available in 400% missions, so rather run those when they have the reactor you need. That's it for the week. Let's hope that all the bugs are patched on Thursday and that we can restart the Wallcrasher challenge. Have fun doing billions of damage. Good game, goodbye.